it's just music, you know, it's just music, isn't it? Isn't it just music? Brother Craig, you know, that's what they want to say, isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, isn't it just music? Here are some of the coveted awards that our people want so bad for the music that we do. This is, you know, the American Music Award, which is a pyramid. What is a pyramid? A pyramid is a house of gods. The Soul Train Music Award is a Zulu mask, the face of Pharaoh. Then the Grammy Awards, during last year's Grammys, they kept flashing this 5-point pentagram. See that upside down star? That is a symbol of witchcraft. That is actually the head of the goat Baphomet in witchcraft circles. They also use the same symbol in the Freemasonry. And it's a symbol of witchcraft. And they kept flashing it, the 46th annual Grammy Awards. So I'm not saying all music is corrupt, but I'm saying that somebody really knows what's going on. I had a friend call me from Sony. Well, he wasn't a friend at the time. He didn't even know me, but he went to my website and he said, man, I work for Sony. I work for Sony Relativity Records. He said, and man, after we would release an album, he said, we'd have devil parties. They conjure up demons and celebrate Satan because of an album release. Thug images, bowing down to thugs and gangsters that promote killing, robbing, pimping, and the love of money and fame. 1 Timothy 6:10 says, for the love of money is the root of all sorts of evil. We know that part, but listen to this part. And some, by longing for it, have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. 50 Cent just came out with, they say, the most violent movie ever made, really. Say if there's parts in this movie, he said, you just have to turn your head. It's so graphic. And it's called Get Rich or Die Trying for the sake of money. Let me dig into this thug right quick, y'all. Are y'all enjoying this? Now, this is Russell Simmons, Kamara's husband. I told you I was coming back. Now, Russell Simmons has done something very strange to me, but, you know, this is just what these guys do. Russell Simmons built a house, right? Big old house, looked like a big gymnasium or something. And he has a basement in this house. And in this basement, he has a god, an Indian goddess called Kali, K-A-L-I. If you do your research, Kali is the Indian yoga goddess of death and destruction. He has this statue of Kali in his basement. I mean, in his temple, in his house. And he prays to this statue every morning. Now, this is the guy with fat farm clothes, right? This is Kali. With all the arms and... Now, Kali had followers that would worship her statue. Back in the 19th century, they would begin to worship her statue. So they wanted to sacrifice money, jewels, and possessions to this goddess. So what happened was, the goddess, what they would do is when people would come into the temple and begin to worship Kali as a goddess, there would be men that would come in and beat them up, kill them, and steal all of their possessions. They named these men thugs. Now, this is an image of what these men would look like. These men would go in, they'd beat the women up, or beat the men up, or whoever was worshiping Kali. They'd steal all of their possessions, right? And they'd hide it on their bodies, and they would put like jewelry and stuff in their mouths, and they would hide all of the possessions, and they would be like robbers and thieves. They were named thugs. Now, Russell Simmons, who is the godfather, supposedly, of hip-hop, or one of the gods, I forgot what his title is, of hip-hop, but he worships the goddess that ruled over, or supposedly ruled over, these thugs. Now, when we see the guys trying to be thugs, I'm a gangster, I'm a thug, they have no idea what they're saying. but they're setting themselves up to channel ancient spirits. Listen to what I'm saying. Russell Simmons worships Kali because of her involvement with the thug. The thug is synonymous of the hip-hop culture. Are you listening to me? I want to be a thug. I want to be a gangster. I want to be a criminal. And what ends up happening is these guys, when they're singing about being a thug, they begin to take on these characteristics and these spirits. They begin to channel these very spirits. That's Mike Jones. Now my thing is, did Mike Jones look up the thug to see what the thug looked like? Because when I see these two pictures, I see a very accurate similarity, which is so-called a familiar spirit. The jewelry in his mouth, just like the thug. Facial expression. Every time he's rapping, he does this. It's a channeling of a spirit. Listen to what I'm saying. This stuff is older than you think it is. Slim Thug and Lil Jon and 50 Cent and Young Buck. These guys are glorifying being thugs. And they are channeling the ancient spirits that used to worship this goddess Kali. Witchcraft images, check this out. Bowing down to artists that promote witchcraft or use voodoo and spiritualism to gain popularity. Y'all, these are all these antichrist spirits. Deuteronomy 18:10 says, there shall not be found among you one that maketh her son or his daughter to pass through fire, or uses divination or observer of times, or an enchanter or a witch. Don't you know Jennifer Lopez pays $75,000 a month to a spiritual witch doctor? She pays for her influence over this generation. Do you know how many of these artists do that? Do you know they actually hire witches to pray spells over these recording artists to captivate our young people? That's why you can't tear the poster down. That's why you can't take the artist out of their life. That's why you can't tell them, no, you can't listen to that. Because then they'll go right back behind your back and play it. Because there are spirits drawing them into it. I got Biggie Smalls on here for a reason. And Biggie Smalls, we know he died, but I believe that there was something to his death. See, because now we're living in a time where young folks wear what they want. You know, they all up in church wearing Rockaway and Sean John and representing all of these godless, perverted artists. Oh, it's getting quiet now, boy. But Biggie Smalls, see, this is what hip-hop does. It takes something we know is wrong and tries to make it right. Biggie Smalls has an organization called the Junior Mafia. And in the Junior Mafia, he had broken the Junior Mafia up into 3 groups. He called each group a 6. Yeah, I'm going there. Yeah, that's it. So he would call the entire Junior Mafia 666. He had clothes made and was getting ready to start a clothing line right before he died called 666. Now, can you imagine, had he lived and done that, how many of our young folks would be right up here in church wearing the mark of the beast? Because when the devil wants to push an antichrist agenda, all he has to do is raise up a superstar. They be in here defending it. The holy hip hoppers, well, it don't mean that. It don't mean 666 no more. It mean 3.